my departments, we have facilities maintenance and operations and construction services. Our department has the engineering group that builds buildings. For instance, we built this building twice. Once in '07 and once again when it burned. We also planned and developed and worked with contractors to build Scholars Walk and the campus green and the campus center, the West Center. We also do a lot of the planning in conjunction with campus design and development. We try to put together the plans that the president and the vice presidents come up with in their planning process called Vision of Distinction. Interesting thing about ambassadors, you know what an ambassador is. And Frank Zevitas hit on it. You're a salesman. And my wife is with me tonight because we're going to go out and eat when we get through with this. Might go to McHale's and the beer specials. Our daughter, Betsy, she was an ambassador at Appalachian State, probably in 2003, 2004. And she loved it and did a very good job, just like you all are. And Winthrop is my home in a lot of ways. I've been here 25 years. And I grew up 2 blocks from here. And this is where I played as a child. And one of my best friends was a guy named Billy Culp. And Billy Culp's dad had this job that I have. And Billy's family lived in a campus house that was located over behind the Dalton Science Building. There used to be 2 or 3 little houses back there that they called the back campus help houses. So I spent a lot of time over here playing as a child. And we knew where all the coldest drink machines were and water fountains. And we would go over to the cafeteria. Back in those days, we had our own cooks. And we would know exactly when the cookies would come out of the oven. It was like 3 o'clock. If you got there at 3 o'clock, those gals would fix Billy and I a big plate of hot peanut butter cookies and get an ice cold glass of milk. Take it like it was yesterday. But Winthrop is a special, special place as South Carolina schools go. Jane went to Converse. Are you all familiar with Converse? And I went to Wofford. Both of them are private schools. And now I think Converse is probably $40,000 a year. Wofford's pretty close to that. At Wofford and in Converse, we had really nice old campuses that had that really special campus feel, top-notch faculty, top-notch courses, accredited programs. It was a mere $40,000 a year. When you come to Winthrop, you get top-notch programs. Every program that offers national accreditation is accredited. You have wonderful professors, extremely nice classroom facilities for less than half. But people say, well, gosh, Winthrop's the most expensive state school. Well, next to Clemson, I think we're $100 a part or something. But the quality of education you get here is something that will help you throughout your entire lives. It's something special. And this is a special, special place. Having grown up here as a child, and when I got out of Wofford, I went and ran the family business. We built truck bodies. And I ran that for 10 years, and we closed it up. And somebody asked me, said, where would you like to go work? I said, well, I'd like to go work for the other family business. Because my mother's dad was a fellow named Dr. Walter B. Roberts, for who I was named. And he started working here in 1925 to be the head of the music department. He drove across the country in Essex with my grandmother, who was pregnant with my mother. And she was born here on campus in 1926 and delivered by the campus doctor. And they lived in a campus house. So this, to me, is the other family business. And I tell you all this just to give you an idea of how special this place is. It's not just a regular old school. It's special, and it's a bargain. Well, some of the stuff that Rebecca asked me to talk to you about is what's in the plans for the future. Well, planning is tough to do. When I first came here in 1987, there were I think, 12 computers on campus. And there was a computer called a PS2. Gloria knows what that is. But
Barely.
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 Well, she barely did because there were just a handful of them on campus. We had one fax machine. It was up until, if you wanted to do a fax, I had to run from back campus up to front campus and stick it in the thing. I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. You put a piece of paper in the machine and shoo, it goes across the country. Somebody's going to see it. I thought it was great. And we literally shared one fax machine. And we had two-way radios that we used in the maintenance department. And our own repeater system on top of Wofford. And I thought, man, it's the greatest thing in the world. You just pick up this radio and you know, call somebody. It's wonderful. And then we got a computer for the office. And it was to monitor the energy that we were using. Well, then we got a better computer. And they said, well, you know, let's take this old computer and give it to you. Well, I was 34 years old. I thought, I'm too old for computers. Well, it wasn't long for you. You couldn't live without your computer. Never would have dreamed in 1988 that someday I'd have a computer in my pocket that would do 50 times more than that PS2. That I could call somebody in London right now. Or see the temperature in any city in the country or the world. I mean, y'all don't realize how remarkable this would have been to us. It would have been unfathomable. You know, and the point of that, the point of telling you that is, how difficult would it have been in 1987 for me to say, gosh, in 1992, there's going to be this thing called the Internet. We didn't have the Internet. And then in 1992, gosh, in 5 more years, I'll have a wireless phone the size of my shoe. And then in 1999, to say, gosh, I'll have a wireless phone the size of half the size of a deck of playing cards. They'll do everything that PS2 and more. My point of that is it's very difficult to see clearly into the future. And that's exciting for you guys, especially at the age you are, because what's down the road? What's when you graduate? Some of it's going to be scary, but some of it's going to be fascinating. And beyond your comprehension right now. We couldn't comprehend in those days that we would be where we are today. So I just can't imagine where 25 more years is going to be. So I'll be dead, but you guys will be having some really good fun with something special. You're not?
You're not.
Okay.
Oh, well, you and I.
Okay. Well, in 1993, we began a master plan that looked similar to this map. And it included a lot of things, renovations of buildings and some new buildings. I just couldn't imagine that we'd ever get all that stuff done. Well, going back to how difficult it is to look into the future, Dr. DeGiorgio started a process of annual updates to that master plan. So it's kind of like a foot race that never ends. There's no finish line. Good planning is dynamic. It changes with the times. So our plan changed, as programs changed, as needs changed, as technology changed. And we kept refining it and honing it. Each piece we would get into place would affect the next piece and the direction of the next piece. And that's where this plan came from. Some of the things we had planned that have already come to pass were, and this was way back before y'all, we decided that we needed a good wellness center, and we completed the Lois Rain West Wellness Center in 2007. And then, as part of that, we wanted a new student union to replace the old Dinkin Student Union, which was built in 1967. And it was very, very outdated. It was built for the student population of the 60s. And did fine then, but it doesn't suit today. And so we call it the campus center because this property down here we have purchased for future campus growth. If you drove an X through this property, the center of that X is right over the DeGiorgio campus